Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B-Man for this Monday, August 3rd, 2026. This is number 167 in the series of Nerds where we're talking Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man Brand New Day, the review. Yeah, we're going to talk about this movie this evening because there's a lot to be said about it from a positive standpoint. We're going to see something with this that hadn't been seen, you guys. We're talking about from Thursday's pre-screening opening to today, out of the weekend, this movie has already trekked toward $1 billion worldwide. Yeah. Now, this is something that was unforeseen. Let me tell you that starting off. So as we get into talking about it this evening, we're going to have a little fun with knowing what we know about the Marvel Universe, what's transpired in the past up until this point, and what may be happening in the future coming up. But this was a great opportunity for Sony and Marvel to get it together and get back on track with the leading character of the MCU. To be perfectly honest, Spider-Man is Marvel's lead character, just like you could possibly say that Superman is that for DC. But man, oh man, as we get ready to bring this show to you this evening, and we will be going over to Rumble. So for some of you that are on the YouTube side of things, just know that Rumble will have us, where we do the bulk of the show. But I want to, with no further delay, introduce my partner in crime on the show this evening. We got Drew Titan in the building with us this evening. What's going on, Drew? How you feeling, bro?
Wait, I was on mute. My bad.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. Let's nerd out. I'm here for it. Let's nerd out.
Yeah, man. This is something pretty good, man. Kind of the experience kind of takes you back to what these films are supposed to do for you, right? It's like you feel like a kid all over again if you are the elder statesman. And there's a lot to be said about this film being made a certain kind of way. Not heavy on CGI, heavy on story. And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break this down a little bit. So your thoughts as we get ready to get off into this. When you heard that the film was coming, what were your feelings before seeing it? Your thoughts are, are they gonna clean some things up, or are we gonna be dealing with this DE&I and all of that stuff? Or
I try like hell, man, to look at the cup half full instead of half empty. You know what I mean? And so far, after that god awful Marvel Phase 4, a factory reset on the MCU was much needed. I enjoyed Fantastic Four. You can see that there was an effort put forth, and this is the apology tour. There's still some things that they need to get right, and we can talk about that, maybe tonight or on another show. But I think we should dedicate a whole show to what we talked about before, as far as the canceled projects. I think that needs an entire show.
Yeah.
But I can see that they don't want to. When I mean they, I'm talking about the people behind the MCU. They don't want to gamble, so they went with what they know, and they didn't want to. To me, it seems like they didn't want to roll the dice with the storyline, with the Kang legacy. So it's never on our time; it's on God's time. Sometimes God does things and we don't understand it right away. And I believe that, again, they just wanted to go with what they know. So they brought back some familiar faces. They had to rewrite some stuff. And so far it's working out. Again, I think we need to dedicate a whole show to the stuff we talked about, about the canceled projects and things of that nature. But as far as it pertains to this film, in my mind, I knew they were going to do right by the Spider-Man franchise. You absolutely can't F this up. You can't. All the Spider-Man films have been solid films. And I'm talking about even the Tobey Maguire. My least favorite was the third one with Tobey. That was my least favorite. But all of the Spider-Man films have been solid, and when they're bringing everything full circle with this one, I think they're doing right by us as supporters of the MCU. This was a very, very solid film. I liked it. It has replay value. They snuck in a lot of Easter eggs in there. If you know, you know. And I understood the ending. I understood it. Solid film. I believe that they're rebounding off of Phase 4 because they almost threw 10 years of story building in the trash. You know, messing with, I don't know if you want to call it DEI or catering to the pillow biters and the power bottoms. They almost threw the whole damn thing in the trash with about 3 movies. And it was like, what are you guys doing? So this leading up to Doomsday, this is like a good foundation, laying a platform to it. And I'm excited about it, man. And this was a damn good film. This is a damn good film.
First of all, for anyone out there who haven't seen the movie, we're not going to provide spoilers to ruin it if you do intend to see it. If you don't intend to see it, you may want to consider, because what was wrought through this production is some fresh eyes as far as directing. This film is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, and he's known for the Marvel studio film Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
That was a sleeper for me.
Yeah.
I was a sleeper. I didn't know that was going to be that good.
For him to come in and take over the storytelling for Spider-Man, because this is no longer the Spider-Man that was in high school and everything that Tony Stark was mentoring. The film actually takes place about 5 years from the last film. And if you remember, if you saw No Way Home, that film ended with Peter being estranged from everyone who knew him because of the spell that Doctor Strange had brought forth. And the culmination of that story saw him doing away with the Stark tech he had been graced with, and kind of going on a lower rung of superhero existence, where he just became your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not an Avenger, not someone that is looking for high profile, but someone who just kind of wanted to help keep his city and streets clean. And all of that came at the expense of losing loved ones, literally and figuratively, in friends like MJ and Ned. And so this film picks up about 5 years after that story. So it means that Peter has been without his friends and, of course, Aunt May, and he's been Spider-Man a longer period of time than being Peter. And that brings about certain circumstances that he has to deal with that's similar to a true life spider. And I like how they wove that into the plot, Drew and Chad, because it brought some gravity to what he's going through, what he's experiencing. And not only that, can I also mention, and I'll turn the mic over to you, that this is one of the few superhero films that you will see where the hero is in the movie 80% of the time. Not the alter ego, not him running around taking the costume off or taking the mask off for every 5 minutes or whatever, but Spider-Man's story is being told in this film, and Peter is like the supporting character here. But it's Peter's Spider-Man who is dealing with the issues and everything. Because we saw Peter dealing with a lot of issues throughout the other films, especially him trying to come to grips with the loss of Stark and everything. So that played and weighed upon him. But now you got Spider-Man dealing with issues. So I thought that was kind of clever. Your thoughts?
The design by that was very clever. And that's one of those things that you have to really be paying close attention to detail. But it was done perfectly. You know, even when there was short dialogue, he had that damn mask on. And that's something that people don't, I mean, almost to the point where I'm in the theater watching it like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He didn't take the damn thing off. That's kind of funny. Spider-Man, it was like he was more Spider-Man than Peter Parker.
Right.
He was more Spider-Man than Peter Parker. And you know, it's again, 5 years passed. He was welcomed by the NYPD. He was a regular helping them. And the irony behind that is being Spider-Man to Peter was a somewhat therapeutic. They didn't specify how many times a week he went out to visit Aunt May's grave, but he was out there frequently on the train. And that's why, you know, people, you know, Peter Parker, Spider-Man was such a unique character, because he'll go out there and save the city or save the world, and then he'll go home and catch a cold, you know, something silly like that. You know, he was a simple kid, you know. He is, you know, that him being Spider-Man, 80% of the film is now that we said it, when y'all, if you haven't seen it, pay attention to that, because and see, these are things that directors and writers, they want to convey to the audience, and only a select few will catch it. They're letting you know, I'm gonna point something else out too. They're letting you know that a form of therapy was him immersing himself into him being Spider-Man. He still feels kind of guilty about what happened with Aunt May, and he's developed this. You know, they mention it at the end of the film. He develops a friendship with Frank Castle, of all people, who's probably one of the most mentally broken characters in Marvel and DC that you could ever see. I mean, he's broken. He's broken, and somehow they're polar opposites, but they have a mutual understanding. You know, and their friendship.
And they're both side jobs.
yeah. They actually, it actually works out for them. It actually works out for them. But yeah, the fact that this was more of a Spider-Man movie, because Peter's just Peter. Peter is the sidekick. It was really about Spider-Man, and that's what I'm saying about character building. The first Spider-Man, it was Peter. The second Spider-Man is Peter, but I'm trying to figure out, you know, me being Spider-Man. Now it's like, yo, I'm Spider-Man. I'm grown now. I'm Spider-Man, and you know, Peter. It's like I'm part-time Peter. I don't have a time. What it is that he's. When I say therapeutic, it's therapeutic for him to be Spider-Man more, because Peter had no friends anymore. So it's therapeutic for him to walk around with the mask and be Spider-Man more. He was lonely. And that's why the ending was so imperative. I don't want to give it away, but you know, he says F it, and you know, things start working out. But it was kind of it's kind of sad that he has to be. it was more therapeutic for him to be Spider-Man because his personal life sucked because his friends were gone. They were there, but they weren't his friends anymore. You know what I mean? It was just, so I understood that. That's why he wore the mask more, and he was more Spider-Man than Peter Parker in the film. So I understood that immediately.
Yeah. There were montages of he dealing with criminal activity, being heroic, dealing with certain types of villains. And during those montages, which actually continued on throughout the film through action sequences, but during the montages, I noticed something specific. There were several shots done Zack Snyder like, with slow motion, heavy detail, and projecting a certain type of imagery. And what I noted was, in a lot of those instances, those were either from splash pages or covers from former Spider-Man issues.
Yes.
So that was great. I thought that was really, really cool. For those who don't know what splash pages are typically that first opening page or dual page to a comic when you open the book up, a lot of times to convey something to captivate your attention right away. The artists and writers will have a dual page of activity happening. That's a splash page when you open a comic up. Sometimes there'll be a lot of different things going on within that imagery. You could have a simple main character and villain fighting in the foreground, throwing a punch at each other, but in the background, there's certain debris or some kind of casualties of their battle or whatever taking place. But you look at it, you comb the pages because that's telling a story as you begin that issue. Sometimes the cover of the issue is telling a story. I might still have it. I'll have to look into my archives. But I actually had the issue of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't remember the numbered issue. It's easy to look up because it's in this film, where Spider-Man is on the wall, clinging to the wall, and the villain, the tarantula, is doing a flying kick at him.
Flying kick, yeah.
And the stingers on his feet
Right.
is breaking the brick wall, and Spider-Man is kind of ducking out of the way of it.
Right.
And it was a great cover, and I bought it because of the imagery on that cover of that issue. And the tarantula is what they called him. He was an athletic criminal type. He wore like a masked bandana with a
I think he was Latin too, right?
Yeah, and he wore a costume that had a big spider over the front of it,
Black and red.
and he had those and had those stingers on his feet. They were like pointy knives at the end of his shoes.
Yeah.
And I bought that issue because I liked that cover. I was like, man, this is cool. You know, the tarantula against Spider-Man. And
When did you buy that, by the way? Was that the 90s?
No, bro. That was probably in the late 70s, early 80s.
Holy
when that issue
smoke.
came out. Yeah.
That character's out
had to
old?
be the early 80s. Right around the time I stopped buying comics, because that issue is very old.
Oh.
But I remember it, man. And like I said, I still have some comics. I'll have to look through my stuff to see if I still have that issue. But there's a shot of that where he's battling the tarantula in one of those montage sequences. And I was like, holy smoke, look at that. They put that in there. And then there's another one where he's carrying one of the villains and he's swinging.
Mhm.
That's from Amazing Fantasy,
Amazing
the first issue of Spider-Man,
Yeah,
where he's swinging, and the
yeah,
only difference in that was he had the webs under the armpit
right,
on that issue, but he's
right,
carrying someone, and they did that shot. They recreated that shot during the montage as well.
right.
I love that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, man, they did right. They did right. Even this right here, you having the backsplash. That's a cover right there.
Yeah,
The boomerang.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
And
it was showing you how busy he was in the last 5 years.
yes, and some of the characters that we wanted to see, like we got a chance to see. Well, I'm not going to mention the characters that we see because there are people who haven't seen the movie yet. Go and be surprised, but you will enjoy this. I can guarantee you, because if it can make someone like myself and like Drew feel like we feel about it, you know, and we're older dudes now, and it's like, wow, that's kind of like what it really took me back to when Tobey's first Spider-Man movie came out, and I went to a late night showing for that. I think I caught 11 p.m. showing that night for Spider-Man, and the line was outside the theater,
Wow.
and most of the people in the line at that time were older than me at the time that I saw the movie.
Wow.
Because when Tobey's Spider-Man came out, that was the early 2000s,
Early 2000s.
and there were guys in the lines that was 40 and 50 plus, and geeks wearing their Spider-Man t-shirts and stuff. Some of them, the t-shirts so tight on them, it's like, man, you need a bigger size, bro. But it's like, you know, that just, and it brought the people out, and this is what we live for. You know, we work every day, we pay bills, and we take care of families and things like this, and it's like taking it to the max. To that degree, you need some kind of escape, right? And so as an adult, to be able to go to the cinema and see a movie like this that can entertain you and take you back to your childhood, or take you back to a time when life was more carefree for you or whatever, that's what that's all about, you know?
Yeah,
And
man. Yeah.
this film kind of channeled that. There was also another moment of channeling Tobey's Spider-Man, because Tobey's Spider-Man is very popular too.
hmm
When he went outside and he saw the people celebrating him,
Right.
and everybody had little posters and they was cheering for Spider-Man and everything. They was like, and he kind of looked around like, man, they really like me, you know? It's
Yeah.
like he enjoyed that. He was taking it in. And you remember in Tobey's film, was that Spider-Man 2, when he went outside and they were doing a parade and stuff?
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
was standing
yeah.
out there and he was just watching. He started marching with them and stuff. He was having a good time
Yeah.
checking all of these people out from New York that's just celebrating that they have Spider-Man in their life, you know. And I thought that that's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah.
And if the people couldn't get together for anything, at one point they got together to support and show love for Spider-Man.
Yep. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You know, certain when certain heroes go through that, sort of like the opposite of Batman. You know, there was some, because you know you got to keep in mind the character Peter Parker is still young,
Yes.
and again in this film, it's 5 years later, and he immersed himself into the persona of Spider-Man to the point where he was more Spider-Man than Peter, because Peter had nothing. He was a college student or a grad student, and his friends don't recognize him. He didn't bother making new friends, but he immersed himself in Spider-Man. He dedicated more of his life to Spider-Man, and that's how he met the Punisher and everything else. And there was a funny dynamic between them. And whereas, you know, you're doing that, and Peter, you know, he's a normal guy. It's like, man, what am I even, you know, there's some doubt. Like, what the hell am I even doing this for? Do people even care? And he had a good relationship with the police. Whereas Batman, he doesn't give a damn. about who he doesn't care. You know, if Commissioner Gordon didn't like him, he wouldn't care. He'd still do what he does, and they befriended him. But you know, he just doesn't care. Whereas Peter's like, man, I done did all of that. We done saved the universe with the Avengers. The Avengers don't even remember me like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just doing this. And he's like just down to earth, and I'm just doing it, man. Boy. But this was well written.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the film is written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. And Tom Holland had a lot of input into this film because he wanted to, if he's going to continue to play Spider-Man Peter Parker, he wanted to have some say-so in the character and what he feels that the audiences will feel close and connected to. And so a lot of the treatments that we saw in this film are born of some of the ideas that came directly from Tom Holland, which we really appreciate that too. And now he has even spoken of playing Spider-Man for as long as they'll have him, because they were originally beholding to a couple of more films to just finish out the universe to when they get past Secret Wars. Now, especially with this box office now, it's opening up. They're already talking, even this week now, they're gonna start planning Spider-Man 5.
Damn.
Because the film is so successful. We're talking worldwide $1 billion already. And it opened, like I said, Thursday night premiere and just played through this weekend. It broke all the records of the trailers for trailers for movies and everything. But this is already past Avengers Endgame. Can you believe that?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. I would have never have.
And check this out.
I knew it'd do good, but I would never.
Check this out. They also have said today that this one Spider-Man film has grossed more than all of James Gunn's projects that he has done for DC Warner Brothers since he went over there. Every film combined.
You know, Stormy, we always say a superhero movie of, you know, a well acclimated superhero movie should be pretty easy to do because the story's there already.
We
just
got
translated to the still
5
screen.
generations worth of source material. This is what I don't understand, why some of these studios decide to go and take up present day social issues and try to put that in there. That doesn't work. You have to go through the times that this character has existed through and take the elements of those stories that were so fond and close to the readers' hearts, because that's what's relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot change the gender and the ethnicity of characters that are sourced through, we're talking at least 60 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. Now, the other thing is this speak about superhero fatigue. There's no such thing as superhero fatigue. I was listening to Tyrone Magnus, and salute to that brother. He's had a big channel for a long time, covering a lot of this stuff like what we talk about on our channel. And he said that it's not so much superhero fatigue, it's bad movie fatigue. You know, it's
Well
like
said.
if
Well said.
you're putting out bad movies, people are not gonna go see them. If you put out good movies, people are gonna go see them, and they will go see them repeatedly until they're not in the theaters anymore.
Was there a sequel to Eternals?
No.
See?
And Eternals could have been far better than what it was. There were parts of it that I liked, but there were other parts that I hated more than what I liked because of what they were trying to force in there. And it didn't belong. We did not need to see two of the major characters involved in a same-sex relationship with an adopted child. We didn't need to see that. We did not need to see that. You know, this whole thing of forcing that. If you want to make movies about characters like that, make them and make them originally. But don't take the sourced material that has existed. You know, Jack Kirby did the Eternals and all of that. It's like he never thought about that.
And it's a spit in our face. Because for decades, we're the ones that bought the comic books.
Yes.
I mean, my brother, when I tell you, he looks forward to X-Men every month. From like 85, he bought it every month. And that's how I got into the artists, because, you know, we're artists. John Romita, and he'd get the books and read them, and then I'd read them, and I'd copy out of there and start drawing out of there. And, you know, I brought that up to say that we develop a relationship with these characters. It's a part of it starts out a part of the childhood, and then, you know, you get a little older, it's a part of your hobby, and it's just something that you do. Some people like to read books. My wife likes to read books. I read comic books. It's still a story. I write, I draw. This is just what I do. And I get very annoyed when I find out that it's being translated to the silver screen, and they get a stupid ass director who wants to woke it to death and make these personal political, like you said a while ago, they have a political agenda and they want to slide that in there. I don't need that in my story. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're black, white, Latino. I don't care about that. Leave the characters alone, man. Stop gender swapping shit. I don't like that. Leave it. Look, the game plan is already there. All you got to do is just add a story. That's it. Stop fucking us up. It gets me angry. Stop doing that. I don't care about your woke agenda. I don't care. If this has been a male character all my life, why are you making it a female? You know, I'll give you another one. Look, man, I got love for Michael B. Jordan, but why the fuck was he Johnny Storm? That was annoying. I'm like, man, I can't get over that. Why are they doing that?
That was horrible. And
why
then
would they do that?
Storm was adopted.
Yeah, bro. And
You know,
they think because they got all these super duper graphics and CGI that they tried to take advantage of us. Oh, they're just happy to see their characters flying around on the screen. They'll just go see it. No.
what was the name of that movie that John Travolta played in? Battle something, where the movie had this huge budget with the special effects and everything.
That
but
was
it made like $6 at the theater. You remember that?
Yo, they were damn, that the promotion of that movie was the budget. $28 million. And you know, I'm like, okay, what is this? The movie.
Yeah, Young Deezy. There's our resident stat man. Young Deezy says Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth, thank you.
There you go.
And I did not go see it.
I didn't either.
It came on cable, And I'm sitting there and I couldn't get through the first 20 minutes of it. I said, this shit is trash. What the hell is this? And what was that? What was that? I didn't even care. But he said the shit made $6. Yo, it was trash. It could not hold my attention. I'm sitting there like, listen, if I'm watching a movie and I gotta lean forward like this, don't leave me in that position for more than 5 minutes.
Dude,
you ever been in a movie so bad you got up and walked out?
Yes.
Which one? I'm gonna tell you which one I walked out on. I just couldn't take it.
Damn. I gotta think about it for a minute, but there was a movie, dude. This was either in the late 90s or early 2000s. I had went to the movies to see something, and I was like, I cannot watch this. What movie was that?
Yo, did we do a show on bad movies?
No, we didn't.
Oh shit! Write that down. We need to do that because there's a few of those movies that sucked, absolutely trash. I'm gonna tell you what I walked out on, and the only reason why I sat there for so long is because I was out on a date. It was Jurassic Park.
What movie? I'm still trying to think of what movie it was that I walked out on.
You know what it was? It was the Jurassic Park where the little black girl knew gymnastics and she kicked the damn raptor out the damn barn. Dude, I felt like Eric Cartman in that moment. I was sitting there with some girl. I don't know what was wrong. I think she was stupid or something. But, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. I'm like, this is trash. And when that little girl jumped on the bars and she spun around and kicked the raptor out, I jumped up and said, God damn it! And I walked out the damn theater. I walked out. She said, where you going? I said, I'll be outside. I should have left her ass. I could not take that film. I don't know why that film was so trash, man. But when that girl kicked the raptor, I was like, nah. It's like, damn it. I got up and I walked out the theater. And I paid for everything. Popcorn, soda, juicy fruits, whatever the hell. Stupid ass. Was it The Lost World? I don't remember. The one where the black girl, the little girl kicked the raptor out. I was like, nah, I'm good.
I know that Nicole Kidman film, The Hours, was a movie I had a hard time getting through, man. I was like, this is like watching paint dry. That movie was horrible. But I'm having a hard time remembering. I think I got a mental block on the movie that I walked out because I distinctly remember walking out, but I'm trying to remember which film it was. I have a library of films and all types of genre. I kind of slowed up on horror films. I've seen but didn't collect as many, but so what I've seen in the cinema, what I haven't seen in the cinema, there's kind of a blurred line now, but I try not to go to see something that I really know that I'm not gonna like, which is why, like I tell you, I purposely didn't go see Superman, and I purposely didn't go see Supergirl, because I knew that there would be no connection for me, and that was so daunting because we had just had Black Adam, and Black Adam was supposed to be bringing things back. We had Henry Cavill back in a cameo.
Oh man, how do you fuck that up?
And the Flash movie that ended up getting released is not the movie that was supposed to get released. There was cameos in there by Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. There were elements of the story to help the Justice League come back for another movie.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn came in and cut all that stuff out. Aquaman was in it as well. The Aquaman film that came out, the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
There were some other DC characters from the Justice League in that film. James Gunn cut it out. So when the movie made it to the theaters, there were holes in the story because of what was cut. It's just unfortunate that you see people do this kind of stuff, man.
Right. And when you have when the formula is right in front of you, and you still mess it up, you just being disrespectful to the true fan base. Like you said, you went on when you saw the first Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one. Everybody on the phone or on the line was of age. We are the people that put money in your pocket. Don't violate us, because you know what? Y'all tried that, and Marvel Phase 4 almost killed 10 years of work, and that wasn't no mistake. That was us. We treat the movies like voting. Okay, if we don't like the product, we're gonna hold our vote. All right, that Supergirl thing, they tried to listen. It got so bad, they tried to shame the world as to why that movie did so bad. No, it's not because she's a woman. The Wonder Woman movie did fine. The Wonder Woman movie did fine, and that was a dope ass movie. All right, it was a dope ass movie. That movie did trash because it was trash. It was poorly written, and I didn't have to see it. I read about. I know people that did see it, that are comic fanatics, and they were like, "Nah, it's a bad film." And one of the things they didn't appreciate as a woman, why is the last daughter of a cousin of Krypton? Why she gotta go to a planet with a red sun so she can get drunk? What is that saying about her? That's disrespectful.
I heard she even crossed the line of virtue in this film. You know, when they made a huge complaint about Kal-El dealing with Zod in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, saving some people to do what he did with Zod. I heard she did what she did, and she could have just taken the prisoner to jail or whatever, but she wiped the person out.
I heard that.
When the storyline tells you that her people sent her to do good and be good, that's not so good.
She told you what it was. What they did, it was they drew lines in the sand, because Kal-El, you know, he has morals, but she says we're both superheroes, but we have different ideologies. And the only way I'm gonna go see another Superman film is it's like if their ideologies clash and he has to kill her, because I know he's gonna kill her.
Listen, but check this out. I told you it's James Gunn. It's him. His warped mentality toward comic book characters and comic book material overall. That girl, Melissa Benoist, played Supergirl on the WB and people loved it.
That's right.
She got several seasons out of her show. If that wasn't good, they would have pulled that show off the air.
My daughter's binge watching it right now.
It's a good show.
Binge watching it right now.
It's a good show. Now check this out. Talking about bad movies over good movies, right? We just mentioned Superman. We just mentioned Supergirl. You can mention The Suicide Squad by James Gunn. You can mention this Peacemaker and all of that. But dude, doesn't all of that foolishness now make Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds look like a classic?
Yo, it does.
Seriously.
It does. And you look back and you say, you know what? The Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern wasn't too bad.
It wasn't.
It wasn't too bad. It was
All they
tolerable
needed, all they needed to do was bring the sequel
with
because
Sinestro.
Sinestro had got and forged the yellow ring,
Yeah.
and that was supposed to introduce that there were other elemental rings in the Green Lantern lore, but also his major opposing arch villain and enemy would be Sinestro. That's a built-in storyline. You could make films after film after film. That's like Batman going up against the Joker. And the worst part about that is this: though we made it through the end of that film, that post-credit scene with Sinestro putting on the yellow ring and you see him going and he's glowing yellow and he's like, that was like, man, I want to see the next one. Do you understand?
The next one, maybe they'll get a little better. And the Ryan Reynolds, we joke about it, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad.
No, it just wasn't the higher level. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, we've had those films. Blade was great. Blade 2 was it was better.
Shit.
Then you had films like Spawn. Spawn may not have been like Blade, but it was still decent for the Todd McFarlane story
For that time.
everything.
For that time. It was
Yeah.
decent.
And then when you had Green Lantern, it's like, okay, it's different from Marvel, but okay, you know, I can see what they're trying to do. And of course, the Dark Knight trilogy with Christopher Nolan, those just knocked it out the park. And he made his Batman based in a reality-based world.
Right.
You know, that was really well done.
This is an easy concept to follow. An easy concept to follow, man. And I get annoyed when people single-handedly mess it up. I don't respect it, man. But the reason why it seemed like we're going off the rails, but we're not. We're actually saying that they got it right with these 3 films. With Tom Holland, they really got it right. In this last one, they really did. They nailed it, man. They absolutely nailed it. Absolutely. Now I see y'all in the chat. Salute to y'all in the chat. David Scott, Derek Gaines, Young Deezy. You want to talk? I don't want to talk about the Easter eggs. I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah, I don't want to give away anything really regarding like the cameos and stuff like that, because people need to enjoy. People need to go there and be surprised and be, you know, entertained and everything. So that I don't want to take that away from anyone. What I was going to say is I did like an upgrade on what they did with Peter in the Spider-Man suit, was that they showed like a hub view in his own way. Like inside his mask, you could see his eyes.
Yeah,
you know, that camera angle like that where he's responding to stuff and everything. I thought that's a nice upgraded touch, because that's kind of fresh off of what they used to do with Downey Jr. in the Iron Man suit. But he's got a physical hub. But Peter, that's just behind the mask, his response and reaction. Plus, I like how they brought in some of what they did with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like when he dives off the buildings and stuff like that, and he's like going and he's flapping in the wind a little bit, and he's waiting for a few seconds before he shoots his web and starts swinging and slinging. I like that. That's kind of cool, because spiders are like that. I don't know if you noticed, but you could go on the tallest building in the world and there's spiders up there on the roof.
So how'd they get there?
Yeah, people wonder like, how the hell does a spider get way up here on the 50-something floor, the 100th floor, the 200th floor? You know what it is? Spiders will allow themselves to go to the edge and let the wind carry them off.
Carry them off, yep.
And then they'll shoot a web. and the web will attach to something, and then they, but they do that. It's really interesting that, so when we see him web slinging, it's like, it's true. It's the nature of a spider. Oh, also, what we can talk about regarding this film, the practical over the digital. A lot of this movie was shot practically, and it looks better as a result of it. What some people may not know is that Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, first appeared in Captain America's Civil War. When they shot the film, they had made a Spider-Man suit for Tom Holland to wear on the set of that movie. But it was like your typical Spider-Man suit, not much different from what he wore in this movie. But what they did in post-production, because they wanted it to be a suit that was designed by Stark, they built the suit in the CGI thing, the models that they make, and they put it over Tom Holland in the movie. So that's a CG Spider-Man, but it's Tom Holland is the skeleton.
Yeah.
But they put the CG Spider-Man suit over him. Now, in this movie, they made him a Spider-Man suit, and he's running around the majority of the film. He is in that suit. And also, the web slinging that he's doing, a lot of that is practical.
Right.
It's not CG. And it looks different, it feels different, and it gives you a greater sense of attachment, involvement to the movie. I wanted to ask you, because I know I had mentioned that to you, but were you able to notice it?
No, I was. I don't know how much CGI that they put into that, but one thing I wanted to mention, did you see the shape that he got in for this role?
Oh man, Tom was buffed in this movie, bro.
And he needed to be that to do all of that physical stuff.
Yep.
Even when you saw like the clips that leaked online when he was actually filming it, he's really hanging from the damn rope. That's really him. That's not a stunt man.
Right.
So you're asking me if I noticed it? Absolutely, I did. Absolutely. Even if it was blue screen, that's really him hanging from these damn ropes.
Yeah.
Doing that stuff, man. He got in phenomenal shape. I was like, oh, look at him. Young man got in shape.
Online of him now hitting the pads in the gym. Did you see anything?
I didn't see that. Yeah.
I saw it earlier today. It just, popped up on my feed. But yeah, he's in the gym with the mitts, gloves and the mitts.
That's a good look, man.
Yeah.
That's a good look, man. He took the role.
He was always athletic. He could tumble. He could do flips and stuff.
That's a good look.
Now
when you're playing a character and you have to wear that leotard, if you want to call it that, you got to be in you have to have some kind of physique. You have to have physique. And the scene where he put himself in a cocoon and came down and was hanging, I was like, this kid got in shape for this. So yeah, I don't know how much CGI they use for him swinging around, but a lot of that was him. Like, I know a lot of it is blue screen, but like, him swinging, like there's a harness there because you can't,
absolutely.
But he's like really holding on. I'm like, yeah, that's as real as it gets. That was pretty damn good. It was pretty damn good. Yeah.
And then there's the other aspect of it where to be able to do these things and then have the type of action that they had. Jackie Chan's stunt team was involved in this film.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jackie Chan's stunt team was involved in this. And when you had those characters, the hand and everything that he was fighting, you know, though, and this they didn't bring Hong Kong action to the
Right.
action scenes. They just brought great action because one of the things about the Hong Kong stunt teams, they do know how, especially when it comes down to physical confrontation. But because they've spent a lot of time over here in the West now in Hollywood, they learn how to do certain things. They've been able to elevate the action in their films. One of the ways that you can tell how they've gotten better is just watch a couple of Donnie Yen's Hong Kong films and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Because Donnie Yen, he has his own stunt team and everything, but a lot of times some of these guys, they work on multiple productions and everything, and you could just see the ideas they come up with and everything. But I liked it, you know, the action in this film. It was very entertaining and engaging. It wasn't like I don't remember one moment of seeing some action in here where I said to myself, ah, yeah, nah. No, I was like, oh, this is cool, you know, seeing different things.
Yeah, and the replay value was there. So if y'all haven't seen it, definitely go see it, man. The replay value is there. I'm going to see it again myself. Definitely. This was a great setup for Doomsday. This was the last movie before Doomsday. Yeah.
If there is one thing that I could spoil for this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll see if I could get you on board with this. Let me see here. I'm gonna write it here in the private chat. And you let me know if you think it's okay to touch on this.
Let's see. We could touch on that in the last 15 minutes because I don't think it's going to ruin anything.
Well, it's just, you know, what I wanted to say is it's great to see that that's there, you know, now. It's like, because that means in the future,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
some good stuff can happen.
Derek Gaines is asking us, did Tom Spider-Man always had spider sense like the second Spider-Man movie? In the second movie, he had a problem with his spider sense, but that's coming. That also Tobey Maguire went through that in his film. That comes from a story from the actual comic book, where he kind of like lost his powers for a little bit, and it was more of a mental thing.
But in this movie, it's depicted in several scenes that he has that. He has it, and he was able to deal with scenarios as a result of having that. Now, what you may have forgotten is if you go back to Far From Home, he had to rely on that to deal with Mysterio.
Yeah.
He didn't know really how to control that. The Peter Tingle is what May called it. But in order to deal with Clinton, he had to rely on the spider senses, and that led to. And I always wondered the way they left it kind of open ended. Mysterio can come back because it seemed like he died, and they said he did, but him being a master of special effects and everything, he could have faked that.
Could have.
I mean, Doc Ock came back, right?
He sure did. Came out that dimensional hole. Look, it's comic book stuff. You can always make, if you don't see a dead body,
There you go.
they can come back. If there's no body, they can come back.
There you
But
go.
we want to talk about this Hulk. Y'all all seen it. Y'all know he's in the film. There's 2 Hulks in the film. There's 2. When I say 2, I don't mean more than one. How do I say it without ruining it? He's there, and then something happens, and then he totally loses it.
Well, it is 2 entities because you got Professor Hulk,
Right.
and then you got who Mark Ruffalo throughout all the films that he's been in, he refers to as the other guy.
The other guy. Who couldn't be mentally controlled.
Oh my goodness, man.
And man,
I'm
oh man.
so glad to see him, man.
Welcome back. And they got the CGI on him so good. That was so good.
Oh my goodness. He looked like he's supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
And he
good.
performed like he's supposed to perform.
Yeah.
Did you see him? Oh man, I'm getting ready to get beside myself. But you remember in the Avengers what he did to Loki, right?
Yeah. Oh.
And then you remember in Thor Ragnarok what he did to Thor, right? And Loki was like, yes, now you know how it feels.
Well,
he got ready to do Spiderman.
But like the insect he is, he got 2 slams in. But the next thing you know, he looked and he's on his back. Man, I fell out. I said, "Oh, man. He's crawling."
But I was like, oh, because when it started happening, I was like, oh.
I was like, "Oh,
this
no.
Spider-Man got the hell up out of there."
Man, he got up out of there.
And Peter
Man.
said, I didn't know you could get that big.
He said, "I didn't know you could get that big." Because you got to remember, in Endgame, he saw Professor Hulk.
He saw Professor Hulk.
He didn't see Hulk. He saw Professor Hulk. He's like, "I didn't know you could get that big." And let me park here for a minute. The Punisher, he's crazy, but he got balls. He came in there shooting, and he was like, "Yo, this is beyond your pay grade." He said, "That is the Hulk. What are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to distract him." He said, "What are you going to do? Just throw stuff at him?" He said, "Yeah, you're going to shoot him." He said, "What did he say?" He said, "You're going to shoot at him." He's like, "You might as well be just throwing stuff at him." Oh my gosh, man. That was
Dude.
funny as hell.
They brought back the mighty Hulk clap.
Oh, I love it. I love it. When was the first time he used that clap in the comic books that you've seen it?
In the comics, when he was fighting against Ross's army,
Yep.
and they had the tanks and stuff, and they was bombing them and everything, and he just went boom. But in that old 1966 comic, he did like this. He went boom, and he opened his hands like that, and the air came out like.
Man, the first time I read it in the comic was when he was fighting the Fantastic Four, and Johnny flew down to get him. He clapped, and the wind blew the damn flames out. And he fell. I was like, "Oh snap! That's funny as hell." My goodness, man.
But that's the Hulk, man. That's the Hulk. And
he has to get another movie, a standalone movie. He absolutely has to. Because people are still salty that he didn't get his get back.
Person now. He looks like a real person.
Yeah.
The special effects have gotten to be so good.
Look, man, people are very salty that he didn't get his get back from Thanos.
Yeah.
A little salty about that. So now that we've seen Savage Hulk can come back, y'all got to do something with this Doomsday thing. Don't do him dirty like that, man. Don't do him dirty like that. Don't do it.
Yeah. Now you had said that toward the end of the show you wanted to speak on something regarding the end of the movie.
Oh, the end of the film. There's a post-credit scene, and when we was leaving, there was people was like, "What? What the hell was that?" You know, it's funny. You know, you could look at people and say, "Okay, you're not a nerd like me, so you don't know as much as me," but I understood it because Ned has a Spider-Man app, and the first thing you saw was, I'm just gonna give away a little bit. Spider-Man disappeared. It was like, yo, we don't know who he is. We don't know who he is in the app. But then he reappeared somewhere off Earth in space somewhere. I think that's not Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think that's Toby. Because now we're going to have a lot of incursions. So he's off world. Or it could be like a little bit of a jump ahead. Tom might be already on Battle World, where they're going to have Secret Wars. So if he's off world after that Spider-Man film, he might pop up in Secret Wars. My only hope when we do Secret Wars, the original one in the 80s, and my brother has a comic book, on the cover, you see Hulk holding up a whole mountain, and all the Marvel heroes, the good guys, are underneath him. And I remember the cover says there's like 6 million tons on the Hulk's back, and he's pissed. That's what it says. In that comic, Dr. Doom dropped a whole mountain on them. And Hulk is the reason why they survived. And the only reason why, I ain't gonna tell y'all how they got out, but if they can reenact that moment where Doom drops the mountain on them and Hulk saved all of the Marvel superheroes at that moment, if they could just reenact that, oh my God.
That would be a hell of a redemption arc of what they messed up with Thanos.
Yeah.
Because to show you how mighty he is.
Derek Gaines says, I think it's Miles. You think it's Miles Morales? You know what's crazy? When Ned, that's what I'm saying.
Miles in space?
I don't know. I don't think it'll be Miles. But when Ned was trying to figure out who Spider-Man was, he had wrote something down that he might be Latin. I think they were kind of like paying homage to Miles Morales there. If you look on his board, because he had like a Spider-Man board.
Yeah.
And he could be Latin or whatever the hell. I was like, oh, man. But there's a lot of... We might talk about the Easter eggs next week. Yeah, that'll be dope. But listen, I got to cut out of here. I got to get up at 5 in the damn morning.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Y'all go see this movie if you haven't. If you saw it, see it again. See, that's the unique thing about Marvel movies. I tend to see them twice because there's always something that I missed. You know what I mean? So I get up on an early Sunday, catch the first show. You know, have my little cheat meal there. Have my little movie pizza with some lemonade there. You know, and man, this was perfect. This was a great appetizer before Doomsday. Yes. And I give this a 5 out of 5. Definitely.
Yeah, pretty much the same. So.
Yeah. Salute, Joe. I see you, brother. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we'll get ready to get on out of here, man. I appreciate you coming through to help review this and go over and spread the sentiment that there's no superhero fatigue when it comes to the movies. It's just bad movie fatigue. And with this one, Marvel has done a great job of turning the corner and headed back in the proper trajectory, which is upward.
You know what? Can I make a recommendation for next week?
Sure.
What we talked about with the black casting and why there's a bit of an issue there. And I think we should continue this because this was a good discussion. I think we should continue that. And y'all pull up next week because I saw y'all in the chat. Y'all mentioned it. And I think it's something that we should talk about. You know, Blade, you know, everyone complaining about this new Black Panther. And I'm like, why? What the fuck are y'all complaining about? And there's just a lot of things in general that to me it's a problem. So yeah, they canceled Wonder Man, but Wonder Man did really good numbers. But for those of you that don't know, Wonder Man in the comic is a white guy. And this is what I'm talking about, you know, race swapping and gender swapping. But it'll be a good conversation for next week. So I think we should touch on that next week.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
We can do that.
That'll be great. But great show as usual, as always. And y'all just stay tuned. All right, good brother.
All right, man. Peace to you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming in, man. Have a great night, man.
You too, brother. Peace.
All right. So this brings us to the end of another Nerds. I want to say thank you for everyone that tuned in. Smash the like button on the way out if you didn't on your way in. Share the content. Spider-Man Brand New Day just opened last Friday in the theaters, and it is worth checking out, man. So with that being said, for my brother Drew Titan, the Stormy B Man about to shine off. Shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Enjoy your week ahead.